Oh, hi everyone. Okay, so my name is Rebecca Gade. Sorry. And I was just talking to you guys. Okay, so I was like, over 1,000 generations back, they had this hat debacle. This is so strange for, I don't like really talking about it. And I think that's why we have virtues trade today, but they just really like the hat still. But there was a lot of stuff that went on, okay, that we didn't know about, that our ancestors kind of, like, not our ancestors, it was kind of like disowned. Whoever did this is kind of disowned. And it's still getting disowned on many levels for our church. But, okay, so the Roman Catholic Church is the highest altars, one of the highest altars in the world, because that's where the apostles are buried. Everyone wants to join the Roman. A lot of people, it's one of the biggest churches in the world, Orthodox or Roman, because that's where they're going to resurrect from. People do not want to leave those churches because they're like, this is where they're going to come up from. And if we're alive when they wake up and we were here, then they will be so happy with us. Okay, but on the other hand, there's other people who are like, if they could wake up while we're in there, we're toast. So people are running, come back and forth between the churches. Okay, but why do they tell people, oh, I don't want you were like, people run back and forth. But I'm sorry. No. Okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so people kind of go back and forth. I have a non-denominational, and one of the main things is a lot of people say that's what we learned today in the Catholic Church is more religion than what we do spiritually. Okay, so which religion could kind of puff up, but also religion can hard press. And there's two ways religion can work. Now, religion can build self-control, which can hard press you. Okay. On the other hand, religion can puff up, making you like fluffed, like I am so great, I did it. I went to Harvard, I went to Yale, that kind of stuff. So people are like, that's not gonna get you to heaven, being like that. Okay. So like, please, so yeah, that's why we have like so many different churches, and that like so it's like if it's building self control, that is good. Religion is good. But everyone's like, so I don't know. People like leave the Catholic Church because there's so many things there that like we don't think that Christ would be happy with. Okay, so they're like they have these reform ideas. And so it's good wisdom to listen to some of them. Because so like if a Protestant comes up to you and you're Roman Catholic, Orthodox, and they say to you, "Hey, this makes me uncomfortable. This makes me a little fearful." They'd be like, "Oh, okay. Book of Proverbs. I'm gonna try to bring forth a message to help out." Okay, or I would try to uh, book of Proverbs that use a constructive criticism. You see, so that's kind of what so that's what I'm kind of trying to do by bringing a lot of stuff up. Okay, and this is real old. Okay, and I think this is why we're still targeted, but at the same time, this is less than 1% of our world population. Okay, so I don't want you guys thinking our schools are unsafe, our churches are unsafe, and we're all in trouble, or we should all be in fear. But I think we have a lot to reform. Okay, so this is why. So okay, so okay, they have like these Byzantine hats. Now the Byzantine hats, they say it is just because it's Byzantine. We just think it's pretty, right? Okay. Well, someone somewhere was being shady. Okay, so okay, so here is the download that they gave me, and this is why we have virtues training and the popes and everyone. That's why we're so heavy on virtues training. Virtues training is when we protect the families and kids from people who are like predators, okay, who want to kind of cause harm and stuff like that. Because the Roman Catholic Church faces lawsuits and lawsuits for sexual sin in the church and stuff like that. But a lot of people want to join it because they want to be there for the resurrection. They just want to be like on the roll call, like I was here, I was watching, I was waiting, and so yeah, okay. So what I saw, this is against our church. This is just like, hey, Protestant brought this to me. This is what I'm bringing to talk about. Okay, so I'm like, okay. And some of this is spiritual download that I got too about it, and it really put me in a lot of fear. But then I was like, it's 1% of the population, okay, that our church is getting targeted by. Okay, that it's getting blown up big, but this little spirit's really tiny guy, we can boot him out. Okay, so okay. So, or the essence of it all, the spirit of it all that was, putting people in fear. So one thing they want me to bring up is Leviathan. Okay, so the people are like, why do I feel like the Roman Catholic Church is so angry? Why is there so much anger? Okay, there's something about it. So like a Leviathan, they battled a dragon. Okay, all right. So why is the Catholic Church so angry? Well, it's the most targeted church in the world for the dragon. All right, all right. And the dragon was to sit on the throne of the highest church in the world where the apostles will resurrect from. Okay. Now, okay. So that's why everyone's battling anger and confusion over there and stuff like that. Because the spirit of anger is madness. Madness, spirit of anger, madness. You see Leviathan. Okay. All right. So I saw the hat, the Byzantine hat has it's changes. Okay. So they all this is coincidence kinda, or it might not be coincidence. Okay, so they look like, for one, the one they are currently wearing is like two horns. Two. Okay, so these horns are, they say, represent the horn of Moses. Okay, so it does represent fish. Okay, they're like, yeah, we want this to kind of represent a fish. It looks like a fish head, you know, and they, because they're fishers of men, Christ is fishing for them, and so yeah, they like that looks like a fish. Okay, so then you look at Dagon. Well, they don't like Dagon, and they publicly denounce Dagon. Okay, so but at least in present day. Okay, but these bad guys, they target our kids. That's like Mary crying, my kids, you know, and Mary crying, and she see her kids, and these targets, these predators. Okay, and so I want to tell you guys that it's hard to talk about because I see her and she's crying, and so I'll talk to, who is it? So oh wait, I wanted okay, okay, okay. So this is very important. Okay, so okay, now this hat has a big point on it. It is connects this god named Dagon. Dagon is a fertility god. Okay, we don't know much about Dagon. He was a Canaanite deity. Do you remember David circumcising Philistines? Why was he circumcising Philistines? They had this god named Dagon. Okay, fertility deity, and they're knocking down these altars. And Dagon in the Canaanite religion was the highest god's uncle, brother, and Yah was going to slay this dude. Okay, so very interesting. Um, and so yeah, so kind of interesting. I don't know much about Canaanite stuff. Okay, this is what I had to look up. So, and what I kind of looked at and study, okay, of how this got, it turned into a targeting kind of situation for our people, okay. Okay, so, I'm trying to tell you about it. Oh yeah, so that's how our church got targeted for that stuff. Okay, now this hat looks like Dagon's hat. Okay, and it has that same hat. Okay, so then we have the other Byzantine hats. If you look, they have another hat. Well, this hat is a pointed hat, it has a ball on it. Okay, they used to use a hat. It was if you look at the hat, look at the statue of Baal Peor. Baal Peor has a little ball on his head. Okay, it's a thing. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. So I don't think this is that active today. Okay, but I don't know how much knowledge has been poured out on them, because like when they go up there, it's lights, camera, action, and they have two eyewitnesses that someone who flatlined went to heaven, that there's popes in heaven. So it's like this. The Byzantine hats are all over our entire group. Okay, it doesn't matter what Christian group you're in. It really, we all use the name Jesus, right? Okay, well that hat is pointed, had the little ball on top, and it we had this name Jesus. Okay, well Jesus, if you look, if you mix German and French, it says I swine. Okay, just us, I swine, just sweet, I am. Okay, just sweet as I am. Okay, because I am in French. Just us. It's just missing the I. Okay, so that's how you connect those. Just us, YaHuWsHua. Okay, so Baal Peor was known for sacrificing swine on the altars. Okay, so they used to wear that hat, and it's no longer in effect. They changed it. Okay, so it's just very interesting, but it doesn't mean that they're trying to do that, because like, look, we're all using that name, you see, and it might be really lost knowledge. So we're like, what do they know and what do they not know? Well, we don't want them mad at us, and we don't want to be mad at them, you know. And we look at, like, for me, from my perspective, as a Creole Catholic, I grew up in a Catholic church. I was a kid in a Catholic church. Went to mass service, never got hurt. No one ever hurt me. You know, I was always super, you know, had good friends, good family. I felt like safe the whole time. You know, wholesome people everywhere. Just beautiful, wholesome people. Good families, good friends, good priests. That would be like, I will lay my life down, do anything for Christ, you know. And like my priest, Father Cuddy, and he, I was just like, and then I'm like, I know they don't know all this, because like these priests move up that line. I'm like, we have Protestants and Catholics both in this church that Protestants just joined. Like, I just went through our CIA. I had Protestants all over the room. Like, I see why we like this church now, they would say. I see why we want to be one with this church now, everyone would say. And I just had to go through my confirmation. So I'm like, you know, so I was like, I don't know. So what do, we just gotta talk about it as a group, okay? All the people, we all get upset with each other. And I was just like, what has helped inspire me is to really just think about me being a kid growing up in that church, being like, I could be a priest one day, or I want to be a priest one day. And like, you can't be a priest, you have to be a nun. That's what it's gonna be. But yeah, so I, you know, I'm not a nun or anything, but I just was like, you know, that's how I grew up. I'm like, oh, I could be a priest one day. And these kids think of like that, and they just move up, you know, as they go. And I'm like, well, those are the kids I grew up with. Those are kids that I was raised in the schools. And they're gonna go up and they're gonna become priests and they're gonna become popes and they're gonna do these amazing things. Plus we have Protestants moving in. So I'm like, this, I don't know. You know, are these, so we should just keep writing and tell them how we feel about it as a group. What can we change as a unit? Because like we have a lot of great people there, you know, and how we get together and bring more healing, okay? Because we want to be awake when they're awake, you know. We want to be awake when they're awake, when those apostles wake up and the resurrection's happening. You know, a lot of them, we don't know what level of resurrection this is. People said to, because look at this, like mass resurrection, first resurrection, second resurrection. Is it just like, I'm just going to spring a resurrection on people just to wake them up a little, because come on guys, keep moving. We got a little resurrection here, a little resurrection power. Okay, so yeah. And then to get you guys thinking about the first or second resurrection, or the resurrection or resurrections, okay? And then heaven coming down to earth for us all, because like the resurrection happens, everything goes to sleep, everything wakes up again, okay? How far away is that moment when everything goes to sleep and wakes up again? And are we ready and are we awake for that moment? Okay. So I just wanted to let y'all know. So it's like, the scientists said in like 4.5 billion years, 3.5 billion years, and all of my Christians are like, please don't take that as a word. But I'm like, this is like a big resurrection time. And then it goes to sleep. Then Earth goes to sleep. Then Earth wakes back up. Okay. So and then all of New Jerusalem is one with Earth. 4, heaven is for real on Earth as it is in heaven. No death ever again. Okay, and everything will be run like heaven on Earth. So it's like the recreation model, what's gonna happen. So yeah, so I was like, oh, that's so scary. Okay, so yeah, don't be afraid. So don't be afraid. I'm afraid a little. Okay. But yeah, so I just wanted to share it with you guys, and I'm so excited. But I'm also really nervous, and I know that we just hit a heavy topic and an interesting topic. Okay, so like people are like, okay, here's the thing. Okay, so they said when you see the abomination of desolation, and I wanted to show you that there's just sweet. And they might not be talking about a literal swine that is being sacrificed to the altar. They might be talking about the people walking up saying just sweet or just us, and them saying, I lay myself on this altar in Jesus' name. Okay, what did you just say? Okay, so what did you just say? All right, I lay myself on this altar in Jesus' name. Je suis, je sais. Okay, I lay myself on this altar as a sacrifice, and I am swine's name. That's what you just said. You see that? Okay, so that's scary, right? All right, we don't like that. Okay, so that's what we were saying, and on top of that, you're accidentally calling Christ and you that at the same time. So I was like, oh, just take all that out, you know. But there's like kids say that, and there's states say that, but that's not what we call him, and I feel bad because that's someone's name. so yeah, but so yeah. I try to think about how I could explain that a little different. I guess there's no other way to really explain that, but anyways, YaHuWsHuas Adonai, or YaHuWsHuas Adonai. See, and so I say use the name Yeshua, use the name YaHuWsHua, and if you need to use the name Jesus, because like I had to struggle through mental health issues. I have family that struggle through mental health issues. They can't just it's really hard to retrain your brain. Okay, it's really hard to retrain your brain. Plus, you have to go out and you have to talk to other people who are using the name Jesus. Okay, so like I use a JSS. So I take the vowels out. If you take the vowels out, there's no slide in it. So it's like Jesus, as I just said it. You just say GSS, Jesus. That's no vowels. Okay. So I was like, if you want to use that name and you need to go talk to someone and they're like, who do you know? They're like, who's your friends and family? Like, who's your God? You know, what do you know about God? They say, oh, I believe in Jesus. I'm like, oh yeah, me too. I call him Yeshua. Do you know that name yet? Yeshua. And you know what you can tell them? That name is true to the letter, and each letter has meaning. Okay, and because that letter has meaning, it has the power to heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers to the letter. And that's how you can kind of get them to kind of spark up some conversations. So yeah, and I aspire then to pick up the true name. And then for me, I was just like, I can still say Jesus, be blessed. I bless. Okay, so like people are like, okay, here's the thing. Okay, so they said when you see the abomination of desolation, and I wanted to show you that there's just sweet. And they might not be talking about a literal swine that is being sacrificed to the altar. They might be talking about the people walking up saying just sweet or just us, and them saying, I lay myself on this altar in Jesus' name. Okay, what did you just say? Okay, so what did you just say? All right, I lay myself on this altar in Jesus' name. Je suis, je sais. Okay, I lay myself on this altar as a sacrifice, and I am swine's name. That's what you just said. You see that? Okay, so that's scary, right? All right, we don't like that. Okay, so that's what we were saying, and on top of that, you're accidentally calling Christ and you that at the same time. So I was like, oh, just take all that out, you know. But there's like kids say that, and there's states say that, but that's not what we call him, and I feel bad because that's someone's name. so yeah, but so yeah. I try to think about how I could explain that a little different. I guess there's no other way to really explain that, but anyways, YaHuWsHuas Adonai, or YaHuWsHuas Adonai. See, and so I say use the name Yeshua, use the name YaHuWsHua, and if you need to use the name Jesus, because like I had to struggle through mental health issues. I have family that struggle through mental health issues. They can't just it's really hard to retrain your brain. Okay, it's really hard to retrain your brain. Plus, you have to go out and you have to talk to other people who are using the name Jesus. Okay. So like I use a JSS. So I take the vowels out. If you take the vowels out, there's no slide in it. So it's like Jesus, as I just said it. You just say GSS, Jesus. That's no vowels. Okay. So I was like, if you want to use that name and you need to go talk to someone and they're like, who are you? Who do you know? They're like, who's your friends and family? Like, who's your God? You know, what do you know about God? They say, oh, I believe in Jesus. I'm like, oh yeah, me too. I call him YaHuWsHua. Do you know that name yet? YaHuWsHua. And you know what you can tell them? That name is true to the letter, and each letter has meaning. Okay, and because that letter has meaning, it has the power to heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers to the letter. And that's how you can kind of get them to spark up some conversations. So yeah, and I aspire then to pick up the true name. And then for me, I was just like, I can still say Jesus be blessed. I bless you all. Okay, now my husband Justin, his daughter say Isaac, okay, and so he gets like his mom is an indie ear, so he gets like interesting revelations, and like we just bounce off of each other, and so so yeah, we all bounce off of each other, and we're like best friends too. Like it's not just like we're just best friends, and sometimes we're like really close as lovers, and sometimes we're just like if it doesn't work, we're still best friends, because we still go through our stuff. But anyways, then we have but like this is what he told me. Okay, so he said that the second temple is being rebuilt. And so he's like, well, or the temple's being rebuilt. Okay, so they're like, well, what if they're not talking about? Because can you see those Jews literally bringing in stuff that they're not supposed to into that temple? No, it's going to be people walking up into that temple, any faith, is saying, I lay myself down on this altar in Jesus' name, was I lay my life down on this altar. I come into this temple. I lay my life down, and they're going to be praising Jesus instead of Yeshua or YaHuWsHua in the temple. Okay, so, which I don't know if we're allowed to, it's like really, really top secret, okay, because a lot of it hasn't happened yet. So a lot of people are going to get this knowledge. I don't know who's going to get this knowledge. So, okay, the highest archangels protect this knowledge with flaming swords in YaHuWsHua's name, because I don't want the wrong person to get this knowledge. I want the right people to get this knowledge. And so I just said this to Yeshua, this whole message to Yeshua himself, through the blood, and to his people that he wants that to go to, and only them in YaHuWsHua's name. Okay, this is very specifically probably for specific people. Okay, so but they said that if you see this, head to the mountains of influence. So this is beyond the mountains of influence. I'm just going to tell you. So the new temple is being built. They're going to have red heifers already lined up. The heifers are already, they said they already have that. And they're still building it, and it's still in the works. But it's not necessarily that they're going to bring in pigs to get slaughtered, or they're going to worship Zeus, but it's going to be like they're getting the name wrong, and it's because it's a name situation. It's a name Babylon, the whore of words. So the whore of words is going to come in, and she's going to mess this up. Okay, so yeah, so it is going to be an abomination to daddy in heaven that these people are dying and calling themselves and God the wrong name, taking the host in the wrong name, calling the host the wrong name, and then being the host themselves. Okay, so they said be really careful with communion at this time as well. Okay, ask for the right name, be mindful of your communions, pray communion every day, and always be kind to each other. Please don't make fun of anyone because there's a lot of bullies in the world, and we don't want people bullied, okay, because a lot of people are named Jesus, and there's a lot of people named Zeus, okay, so they say, YaHuWsHuas, YaHuWsHuas, they're going to walk in the temple, YaHuWsHuas, YaHuWsHuas, they're going to wave the palms, okay, they're going to wave their palms, Hoshiana, and They're going to have and Jesus, I swine, I swine. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so I just wanted, I don't know who it's for. I just need to tell people that. Okay, it looks like it's our church that wanted to do that, but it could just be, it's just years, thousands of years of muddled information. And they want to put it on one person. Okay, like it doesn't, like same as our presidency. Okay, so we have Biden in office. Well, that everything those other people did, it's that man's fault right now. It is. Okay. And it is Obama. Well, everything everyone did, that's his fault. That's his fault. Okay. And we all know it because that's what we all have our little, what is this little plastic baseball bat? Who's going to keep hitting this president down. Okay. We got Trump. It's all his fault, okay? We don't even know what's going on, but it's all his fault, okay? It's the same thing with our papacy. So we don't know what they know and don't know, okay? So it's like, please be nice if you write to him, and let's work as a unit to kind of change what we can, okay? Okay, and then I want to like really encourage, if you're a priest watching this, I really want you to encourage adding the name Yeshua or YaHuWsHua to Mass, and encourage the rosary to be done in the True Name, okay? Which is why we have this new Resurrection True Name Rosary and a True Name Restoration project that I'm doing. It's with Revelry of the Saints and my friend Emanuela, and she is doing a restoration project for our Bibles, hopefully too. So we're hoping. But spiritual warfare has been really hard on us, so we're gonna try. We're promoting a name restoration project for our churches. Okay, let's see how fast we can change this situation. Okay, can we turn it around before they wake up? Because so I was like, can we turn this around before the blink of the eye? Okay, so okay, y'all don't freak out either if your parents or your family still uses the wrong name. Just keep praying for them and keep just refeeding them the right name until they're just walking around saying it naturally too, okay? Because like, okay, that's why I saw this. I felt really bad too. Because I'm like, okay, when you're a mom, or like, I know that because I'm thinking about, I'm a mommy right now. Okay, so, or grandma, okay? Like, we have babies, my whole family, and we're just like, all these babies, and grandma's just hold on to this name, Jesus, just clinging to this name, and she's pouring her heart into this baby, and she's just pouring that name, Jesus, and pouring all her love into that name, Jesus, and we're like, well, I just feel so much love when I hear the name Jesus. That's because you are programming, and sowing so much love into that name, okay? And so, so when they hug, you get a hug, you think about your grandma, Jesus, you get grandma hug. That's what you feel your grandmother's love, or you feel your mother's love when you use those names. So it like programs you. So when you say, well, I don't feel as much love yet, because you have to sow that love into that name, and that love already exists, but you need to sow it into your house. Okay, sow that name into your house. And sow that love. You have to sow that love. You have to hug your babies. I love you. YaHuWsHua loves you. They're like, you have to get to know that name, and you have to. So you need to build up that name in your house. Okay. So I was just like, you can't do it overnight because they're like still hold on to their grandma. They're still holding on to their mother. And they're still holding on to all the people in the church that uses the name Jesus. Okay, so don't get mad at them. That's their little teddy bear name, okay? And it's not to, I don't want you guys to think that, Daddy would be mad at us. It's just really hard to hear, like my friend, okay, he has a ministry. That's his teddy bear name. He went to Dom for it. He went to Dom in that name. Okay, he's like, I poured my blood, okay, into my love, baby. I poured my love out in that name, okay? So it's hard for people to hear, that you can't use that name, or should it, or switch, to that name, okay? So I think that's why Yeshua, when people go to heaven, they're like, oh, I know you, you're Jesus from the Bible. They know it right away. And they're like, he's like, yep, that's right. That's easy. Yep. I was like, well, okay, so these people said this to me, and these people said this to me. Why do when they go to NDEs, when the people die, go to heaven, why do you still go by Jesus? And he doesn't tell me yet. uh, but I think that has something to do with it. Okay, because this is like the name that they assigned. Um, and he loves everyone to the death, and to wake up again. You see, so he died. He loved them to the death. He loved them to the life. Okay. And true love is to lay your life down for your friends and get up and keep going. You see, and so yeah, and so I wanted to share that with you guys. So, but I think because he laid his life down as someone, and that name is in a way reconciled. But what he told me is he took the vowels out, so it's not as painful. So he's like, I don't need the vowels to say that name. And also in heaven, they talk with their minds, and it's not always with words. It's not always with words. So I was like, cool. And so the name is important. You have to have the name to on your foreheads, on your minds and hearts. So it's very important you keep the name on your minds and hearts. And you can also do prayers like, may we love Adonai our God with our heart, soul, and strength. May we love YaHuWsHua with our heart, soul, and strength. With our minds, with our strength. And you could pray those prayers with your family. It'll keep the name on your foreheads. Okay. So that you're all bearing his name. Okay. So yeah. All right. Well, I hope you're all risen ready. Okay. And one thing I want to also bring up is the Rishon Shabbat. Okay. Now Shabbat is rest day. That's the day he was in the tomb. Rishon is risen. Okay, it sounds like risen. Okay, so it's our day before time. That is a risen day. So it's still a holy day to celebrate his resurrection, but it's for risen activities. Okay, so it's for grace. It's a grace day. So I just wanted to share it with you guys to mindfully praise and be happy and enjoy the highest creator, YaHuWsHua. Okay, and some people are like, maybe some people want to work that day. Some people are just thankful they have a job and they go out and work anyway. Some people are just like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go to a restaurant with my family because Christ died for me. We're gonna spend time, or we're gonna go out. We're gonna play football. I was like, and some people were like, I was thinking between like a rest day versus resurrection day. Well, like Duck Dynasty, they play football. They will go out and play football. I was like, cool. Like that's a cool risen activity where you're working but not working. You see, but you're still out doing resurrection activities. You still went to church, and so, what is it? You could do art that day. That is something you could. It's a resurrection activity. You see, I'm risen, and but yeah. So I saw that. I also saw that it really is interesting because 6 days you were to work. I just saw this in the Bible. 6 days you were to work. Okay. And the 7th day is a day of rest. Okay. So what is the mark of the beast? Okay, I want you to look at that mark of the beast information. Because Christ just showed me this, and then you notice that the days of work add up to the number 6. Okay. So I was like, that's interesting. And I don't know what that means. So all the days you work are making money or making resources adds up to the number 6 in itself. Okay, what's the mark of the beast? The 6. Okay, so they said keep a Sabbath, and they want you to remember Rishon is still risen. Okay, so I just wanted to let y'all know that it's still holy day. I think that's my revelation. Okay, for my heart. Okay, so it's still holy day. But yeah. I was like looking for a midway, because I was working with Yeshua and Buddha. Like, this is kind of midway between some things. Like, don't keep Sunday as a Sabbath. They said because they call that the mark of the beast. I'm like, okay, so that means they don't want you resting too much on the day. Well, that makes sense. It's Rishon day, risen. Okay, well, we are not supposed to be resting. You're supposed to be risen. See, so I think what I want to say is mindfulness. all that day, okay, for risenness, okay? And just pray about what's appropriate for you, because like I'm not gonna put a law on that day, like you have to go to church or you have to do this or like, you know, so yeah, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, you have to go to church, you have to rest. Who can't rest? But it's not sin to rest, you know, and it's not sin not to rest, you know. So just pray what is what is supposed to be sit. Pray with me, you know, what's sacred to you for that day. So readjusted, we probably do fishing, or we might go hunting. Like my baby is gonna be born. We go to church. We go to the town with family. They might want to go hunting, go fishing all that day. I know. So yeah, I don't know. We could go to a restaurant. They want to do outdoors with activities. I don't know. So for me to spend time with family. And so yeah. I don't know. Like what are good weekend activities? What is sacred? So on a flip side, someone might say, why would you go hunting or someone said to me, well, why would you go hunting or fishing? Because even on Rishon, because now there's, well, I don't know, because hunting or fishing is taking life on Rishon Day. I was like, man, now I don't know what to do. Now my husband's going to be upset. We're going to be running around trying to figure it out. But that's his day, so he goes hunting probably. His, you know, weekend is for the hunt. He has to work every day of the week. So yeah, I don't know. But I guess I guess that's something that we would have to pray about as a church, as a group. But I'm like, you can't put a law on someone for that. We've always done that forever, you know. So, no one's ever gone to hell for it that I'm aware of. So everyone would have like all those elders. They always go hunting and fishing anyway. All those days that we all get we'll get signal graces that they still made it, so I don't know who would freak it out. They're like, oh, I saw a butterfly today that reminded me of Grandpa, so there you go. I don't know. And Grandpa still went fishing on Sunday, so or fishing or hunting on Sunday, so I don't know anyone freaked out, but I was like, that's interesting. But it's something to think about. Mindfulness. Okay, what is mindfulness? What is sacred for you guys? Okay, all right. Love and blessings, everyone.